Hi everybody, welcome to Road Plenty. I am Thomas. Now, not sure if I'm going to publish this. It depends on how it all comes out. But yeah, we've had the car for about a month now. As you can see, there's quite a lot of snow, so it's a bit interesting how the car handles in the snow, and also how the hybrid system works. I don't know if there's a uniform system how all manufacturers are making their hybrid systems, but I still don't have the user manual. I have it on PDF, but I don't really like reading the user manual on PDF, so I've ordered a real hard copy of the user manual. I'm not allowed to charge the car at work. It is possible, I mean technically, but I'm not allowed to charge at work because it has to do with, you know, they can't give away their electricity for free, and if they did, I would have to tax for it, like benefit tax or something like that. So never mind. So what I do is, I think how to use the hybrid system, it depends a lot on the season, I think, because now in the winter it takes so much electricity out of the battery just to heat the car up. So now, since I preheated the car at home, and since I am choosing a route which is more efficient for the electric drive during the first kilometers of my drive, I am driving in electric only, as I said, since the car is already preheated. Now, I have tried a lot of different strategies for how to get the most efficiency out of the battery. It's not that easy. No matter what I've done, I've ended up on approximately 4.3 on this round trip, which is about 164 kilometers or something like that. I have averaged almost, no matter what I've done, I've averaged 4.2 to 4.3 kilometers liters per 100 kilometers. Yesterday it was 4.7, but that's, I think, because the road surface is quite slippery. So my strategy now is, since I cannot charge at work, I have a colleague who lives just a few meters from where we work, and he kindly let me charge at his place one night, and then the average fuel consumption was 3.3 liters per 100 kilometers on this round trip. So that's what you can probably get down to. In the, let's say, May, September, I think you could get even down lower. The car so far, I'm very pleased with it. Of course, there's always some negative things, some positive things. Why do I like the car? Well, it's very comfortable. It's cozy. I've already mentioned these things, but it's still comfortable. I will go and see my brother at some point in the north of Sweden, and then, of course, I'll be able to tell you more about the comfort on long trips, and also about what the fuel consumption will be when you're out on motorways, etc., and you don't have the basically the charge. Now, there is you can set up your own individual cluster here. I have it now. Usually there's also two different color schemes. I wish there were more, but there are two. That's okay. I usually use the yellow one, kryptonite, at daytime, and then I use the blue one at nighttime. I don't know, it's just one of those things. You can turn off the screen if you want to. Just press there. Whatever you do, as soon as you do something on the screen here, you're gonna get back to the it's gonna open again. So now we're on 61 kilometers an hour, and this is normally the speed where the internal combustion engine would start. To come back to my charging strategy is that I now when it's cold, I deplete the entire battery, so that when I cold start the car tomorrow when I go home, it will not use electricity to heat up the car. It will immediately start the combustion engine, and then it will you will get the heat. You will heat up the interior by the excess thermal heat of the internal combustion engine, and also then you get the engine up to working temperature immediately, and I think it's a good thing. But as I said, I've tried different strategies. Now it's difficult to say because the weather is changing all the time. It's getting cold, and now today it's a little bit warmer than it was yesterday and the day before yesterday, actually. So of course, when it's warmer, it's going to take less heat, less electricity to heat up the car when you're driving on in electric mode. So but all the strategies I've tried so far, they have been basically ended up in the same result. I really don't mind driving in slippery or in muddy conditions, because I kind of like, anything when it floats around a little bit. It feels quite nice. Compared to the normal Peugeot 508, 508, this one has got also the rear wheel drive. I quite often have this. I don't know if you can see it, but I usually have this display. You have it here also. Anyway, I always want to have the rev counter, which, as you can see now, it's on 0 RPM because I'm still on electric. And then it's nice to have the energy flow and the battery meter there. And then I would like to have had rev counter, energy flow in the middle, and traditional speedo here in the right, or vice versa. Never mind. You can get this, for example, if you go on the energy one, then you get the big energy flow here in the middle. It's nice, especially in the beginning when you don't really know what's going on with the car. And this brings me to the next thing. When you are driving in electric, fine, then normally it will always default to rear wheel drive, unless, I guess, if you push it more, then it will also start using the front wheel. So there's each electric motor, front and rear, has about 100 horsepower, if I'm not mistaken. And on this Mimic, I have actually never seen the front electric motor activating, so I'm probably just driving too slowly. But to be honest, this is a hybrid car, and if I press on, if I really drive hard in electric, I'm gonna deplete the range of the battery immediately. So I think if you buy a car, either you buy it for some tax reasons, that you want to have a low tax on the car, and then what you get is a heavier car than if you would have bought the petrol or diesel equivalent. So I don't really see. I think it's not really wise to do that. You do whatever makes you happy. But anyway, what do I want to say? The thing with this car is that when you drive in hybrid, you drive on these slower. You're driving slowly below 60 kilometers an hour. Okay, it will always be rear wheel driven. So you're in the corner, you feel you want to tighten up the corner, you press the pedal, you press the gas to get a little bit of oversteer, or you feel that you're getting out on this snow and you're starting to understeer and you want to get back on the road. You press the gas now it's time to put in comfort mode, so it will start the combustion engine. Oh, now you can see the combustion engine start, and it's still driving with the rear wheel. Yeah, see, it's driving with the rear wheel, but the combustion engine started. So I think it's just what it's doing now is probably preheating before it takes the load, I guess. I'm just guessing, And as you can see, I now have 32 kilometers left of electric range. I think it will be less, actually, but as you can see, we're still using the rear wheels, so the rear wheel drive. Anyway, you're driving below 60 kilometers an hour, it's slippery, you step on the gas, and when you step on the gas, when you're in hybrid or in comfort, it will automatically, even if you're below 60, it will start the internal combustion, and it will start driving the front wheels, and then it will all of a sudden, from being rear wheel driven, it will start being primarily or almost only front wheel drive. So it takes a bit getting used to, and I think I presume if you really want to push on, I think sport mode is probably working better, because I can only presume that then it's working differently. But once again, I'm just guessing. You can see this is interesting. I'm in comfort mode, but it's still driving the rear wheels only. So I think it's still like heating up the engine, and then once it's and you can see it's not charging now. You can see that the drive is starting on the front wheel. It's quite smart, this system, But it also meant that I wasted a few 2 or 3 more kilometers of electric range before. So maybe I should have started preheating the engine earlier. I don't know. Anyway, another thing which I think you can get in the individual screen, but if this trip information, it disappears. You just press the button here on the stop or on the right side, and then after a few seconds the information disappears, which is very annoying. I would like to have it there all the time. I don't need to have this charge echo power, because I get it pretty well here. Okay, I'll turn on the camera a bit later when I'm on this last stretch curvy road before I get to work. Is there anything else I would like to highlight before turning off the camera now? I'm very pleased with the car. It is a nice car. I don't like that you have to go into the menu and change the temperature and so on. It's quite distracting, and I change the temperature quite a lot depending on if I'm in electric or not. I haven't done it this time actually, but usually lower the temperature a bit when I'm in electric. Okay, nice winter landscape. So now I'll turn off to this little small road. I will go to hybrid mode, which is just, I think what I understand is a little bit difference between hybrid and comfort is that the hybrid is a bit more hard suspension or firm suspension. As I said, I can't really notice any difference, but I'm probably not driving hard enough. Okay, so now we are 3.6 liters per 100 kilometers so far, and we have been driving 30% on electric. I still have 10 kilometers of electric range. So when I have about 10 kilometers left before coming to my destination, I will turn on full electric. Now I'm still in hybrid. Now this road is quite narrow, not too narrow right here, but it's quite narrow, and you can't really see. You see the orange poles here on the side. That's basically for the plow truck to see how far out to plow, but that's not where the road limit is. The road limit is further in, so you don't want to get your outside wheel into the snow in the turn, because then it starts understeering. So naturally you have to have a slightly different driving technique in the snow than in the when it's dry. But yeah, I'm kind of a soft driver anyway, so it's not the biggest difference. Just that when you drive on the dry road, you can always, you know, tighten up the corner. But here, if you do like something like that, you know, she will start understeering. So you have to have a little bit more margins. Now, it's -1 degree Celsius, so that's why you have this slush. If it's -5, then it will be more firm surface. Although, of course, the salt is making it slushy even below 0, but about -5, -6, -7, then you get the really nice surface to drive on. Depends on how it was before the cold came, of course. So, yeah. I have averaged 4.1 liters per 100 kilometers since I bought the car. I can't see how much of that. It's not what I can see. You cannot see on the trip how much of that would have been an electric, but I would presume maybe 20%. Actually, going to work here, I usually have a little bit more, or I did when it was warmer anyway, I did have a little bit more. I mean, if I have 10 kilometers of electric range here, and now I have 12 kilometers remaining, but before I would probably have been able to just put on the electric now and gotten all the way, because it's quite a lot of downhill towards the end of this trip. So, yeah. And I also had the feeling that when you come down on 10%, there's like a 12.5%. Amen. Hallå! Jävla idiot! Well, that's why you really need to be careful, because they are cutting the corners. You know, you can't cut the corners in this weather. Said, and then the first thing I do is cut in the corner. But you can cut the corner if you see what's coming, but not if you can't see. If it's a hidden corner, you can't cut the corner. Also, yesterday when I was driving here, it was a lot more snow. It was like all this mud laying around, so you were really sliding around quite a lot without pushing it at all. So. Now, if I had the road for myself and if I had all the money in the world, I would probably push it a little bit more, but I don't really want to ditch the car, so no. I really like driving on these surfaces because no matter what car you're driving, it's always a little bit loose. It's really nice. It's really nice. I like it. Just as you can see, I'm not pushing it, but just to have this little feeling of slightly sliding, and to keep it there, not to overdo it, but you keep it on that exact limit where you're just feeling that it's slipping a little bit and not more. I like it a lot, actually. So now we have 9.1 kilometers left, and then I have 8 kilometers on the. I will wait a little bit while, but I think I turned it on the electric mode a little bit too early last time. Always keep the 30 kilometer an hour speed limit because they're there for a reason. In this case, the reason is a daycare center just over here to the right. Children might be running out on the street, and especially in weather conditions like this, because you can't stop quickly. And there's also a big difference in survival rate when we're talking about impact from 30 kilometers an hour and 50 kilometers an hour. So I think really the low speed limits I always keep to the kilometer. Oh, now it's a little bit more slushy all of a sudden. Typically there's a meeting coming. Okay. So you can see here, you can't really see where the road ends. Also, fucking idiots. Usually when you're driving like this in 80, like above 60, she doesn't want to engage to electric. I mean, you have to press several times. So I'll engage while I'm down below. Now it should be okay. Electric. Now, one thing when you sit lower, like you do in a traditional car, than versus an SUV, of course, is that you don't really see it above undulations and so on, ridges that early. So you have to be. It takes a little bit longer before you can actually see what's behind the top of the mountain, so to speak. So now we got 4 kilometers left on the meter, and it only takes 2 kilometers at a time, which I don't know why, but anyway. So all of a sudden it will be 2 kilometers, it will not tick down to 3, and then I have 4 kilometers on the way. So I think I turned on the electric quite the perfect time to be zeroed when I come to my final destination. Don't go out now. Don't go out. Yeah, thank you. Two kilometers, 1.9. Should be okay. Fucking insane to have a 70 kilometer an hour speed limit here. Bus ditch here the other day, so it's good to be careful. This is the most dangerous corner on the entire. Because if you have a meeting, you have to go down in the slope. Okay, I still have 2 kilometers, so I didn't optimize this, but don't care. Those 2 kilometers I will have when I go back. Although I'm afraid that they will use those kilometers to heat up the car instead of letting the internal combustion engine doing its business. Okay. Oh, a cargo ship coming. So what's the okay, 3.3 liters per 100 kilometers go in here, and I have done 36 kilometers on electric alone of the total. Oh no, 36%. I mean, 36% of the total 83 kilometers. So yeah, that's okay. So now car is very cold. Starting up. So let's see. It's in hybrid mode. as you can see, as you can hear, the engine is on a very... Oh, now it starts to increase the revs, but when you start it, it kind of starts immediately charging the battery, so it's on a high, when it's cold, it's on a high RPM relatively. As you can see now, the engine is heating up, so we still have some battery, since I still have 2 kilometers. Those 2 kilometers will be wasted when we come up this hill. Anyway, so it's both rear wheel and front wheel drive actually, as you can see on the Mimic there.
För att börja, säg ett kommando efter tonen.
Okay.
Jag har svårt att förstå.
Oh, I touched some. Okay, all is good. Now, maybe I can drive without the... Now, nice thing when you are starting up with a internal combustion engine is that the car gets warm a lot quicker. It doesn't have heated steering wheel, which is quite annoying since I got used to that on the Stelvio. So now you can see, now it's the speedometer went from yellow to white, and that means that I'm driving an electric, but there's no charge left in the battery. But now I presume it's more like a normal hybrid car, which is not plug-in hybrid. You know that it's charging a small part of the battery, and you know as soon as it can, as soon as there is any. Now you can see that it started up again. It's, yellow indication. Now I'm on my way home, so and it's night times, becoming night time, so I will switch to the blue color scheme. Now you can see when you're in this blue mode, then the speedometers will be blue when you're in electric. But when you don't have any charge, quite easily, you just have to push the pedal. Now you can see it turn white, and then you know the internal combustion engine started again. So it doesn't take much when your battery is depleted for the ICE to start again quite naturally. You can't really hear much of the engine, which I guess is a good thing because the engine is a 4-cylinder, you know, it's 1.6 liter 4-cylinder pot, but so it's not really anything exciting. But the other day when I come home with the depleted battery and I just was opening the garage door, I listened to the exhaust note, and it sounded quite okay actually on idling. now this night vision looks okay, looks to be working okay. But sometimes it's just covered up by an incomprehensible picture. You know, now there's actually no person to see, but it's very dark, can probably not see me. Thank you so much for watching. I don't know if this talk made any sense, but anyway, it's nice to share in the experience. On this round trip, I got 4.6 liters per 100 kilometers.